So in this video, I want to talk to you guys about some secrets confident individuals actually use to thrive in social settings, They're secrets. Yeah, they're secrets, and it's what some people use to thrive in social settings. Check this. We've all found ourselves in a situation where our appearance in this social setting is very important, and the need for us to make an impression also becomes very important, whether it's a work-related gathering and you need to appear, you need to show up, or it's a date, whatever, it doesn't matter, And so it's like you get there, as soon as you walk in, you feel very nervous, and then your brain basically shuts down, and then you're like, what do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands? And then you're overthinking everything. You're asking yourself, do I smile now or do I smile later? Because you walked into the room, now everybody's looking at you, Everybody's looking at you, and you need to make eye contact. Personally, I have a problem with this one. I need to work on it. I can't look into people's eyes for too long, and some social cues is like, it's very important to make eye contact. When you shake somebody's hand, you need to give a firm handshake. All those things are very important, if you want to appear confident and all that, And so for me, confessional moment, it's difficult for me to look straight into someone's eye for too long. I still need to work on that, and because you need to find the balance between good eye contact and actually appearing creepy, looking into someone's eyes for way too long, which makes the whole situation uncomfortable, basically, And the best way to illustrate this is this anxiety that happens socially. And if you have social anxiety, and because of that you do not have confidence, and then you walk into a social situation like this one, it gives that feeling, it gives that feeling like you're walking on stage, and then the spotlight is on you, What happens when you walk on stage? Say you're giving a TED talk, and then the spotlight is on you, definitely your mind goes into overthinking mode, and you're overthinking it because everybody's looking at you, everybody's looking at you, waiting to hear what comes out of your mouth. Now, in social settings, it's similar. You feel like, it's called the spotlight effect, where you feel like when you walk into a social setting, you feel like the spotlight is on you, that everybody's looking at you, everybody's judging how you look, and can't wait to hear what you're going to say. Well, within effect, actually that is not true. That is not the case. It's just your brain lying to you. It's just your brain telling you that. In a social setting where there's a whole lot of strangers, when you walk into a room, not everybody notices you. Not everybody is thinking about you. People are most cases thinking about themselves, and what is important to them, And so you need to refrain from that spotlight effect, and always overthinking everything and feeling like people are judging you, And so, what is social anxiety then really? A clear, quick, simple understanding of a social anxiety is actually the fear of being judged and being misunderstood. Basically, that's what it is in simple terms. And most people have it, you enter a social setting and you're overly conscious about yourself and your appearance because you don't want to be misjudged and be misunderstood, and sometimes it comes of trauma because of previous experiences and people talking about you badly. And so you don't want these things repeating itself. And so every social situation you find yourself in, it gives you this anxiety, and you can't really stand it because you are shaking in your boots, basically, And because your brain is start running weird scenarios where you are telling yourself, I'll say something dumb, I don't belong here. And you even start telling yourself things like, people think I'm weird, stuff like that. So now, how to do better? Things, people that are good at social situations, things they do. I'll share 3 points with you. And the first one is preparing for the moment. Preparing for the moment. And this is how it looks like. So preparing for the moment is basically like being comfortable with what you will say and the gestures you will make when you meet the people on the social gathering. From things like, hey, how is your day going? You meet the first person, you say, hey, how is your day going? This is very important. It's a simple line, but it's very important to practice it, because when you meet the person, you know what line you are going to start with, and you are going to say that line without overthinking it. Because what happens in social settings is, when your brain needs to perform, and you need to say the right thing, and you need to show good gestures, you overthink everything, and that's when you start saying the wrong thing, basically. And so if you gave the line that you're saying first forethought, like in advance, it helps you greatly. Just you saying, hey, how is your day going? Or things like, nice jacket, where did you get that? So your willingness to prep, just do small quick preps of what you have to say, how to stand, helps you greatly than you appearing perfect right out of the gate. So it's very important to prepare yourself. Point number 2 is actually focusing outward. What focusing outward means is you ask questions to the person that you're talking to, or the person that you meet. You listen with intent, you listen carefully, and you ask follow-up questions. What happens is, when you show interest in other people, then it's less attention on yourself, basically, thereby helping you crush the fear that you are feeling within you, and just focusing on the other person. And then point number 3 is funny. It's intentional breathing. Have you found yourself in a situation where you're talking fast, you're trying to impress the next person so much so that you actually start choking on your own air? Yes, that's because you forget to breathe. You're so anxious, you forget to breathe. And so be intentional about your breathing, like 4 seconds breathe in and 6 seconds breathe out while you're conversing, while you're talking to this person, because remembering that your brain needs oxygen, actually. And because we are anxious, in most cases we forget to breathe, and that's what causes us to run out of breath, choke on our own air, basically. So they were making the whole situation awkward. And so if you find yourself in a social setting and the thought is, everybody's going to judge me here, remember that most people in general in life are thinking about themselves anyway. They're thinking about themselves, they're thinking about their problems and the struggles they're going through. And so that thought of you feeling like people are going to judge you is actually not true. And so it's nice then to just think about, when I've conversed with someone, when I meet these people, what is the nice thing to say to make them feel comfortable, because that is what people remember you by, actually. And then what if you're thinking and you're telling yourself, I will mess up and look stupid in front of many people? Well, even if that happened, this is how you want to think about it. Who doesn't make mistakes in life? You making mistakes or you looking stupid is actually human. It's something that everybody can relate to. A reasonable individual, mature people will look at it as you being human, actually relate to it rather than judge you. So in most cases, you are just being too hard on yourself, basically. Or you could tell yourself that you are not just a social individual. Well, the truth is, the people that we know to be social have trained themselves. They've trained that social skill in them, and so when they are in front of other people, they are good because they've been in those situations intentionally and have trained their social cues and habits and skills repeatedly. And so they are very good at being around other people and talking to other people. And it's a skill that can be learned. It's just a matter of you putting in the time, teaching yourself how to be social. For instance, this video, if you apply everything that we've spoken about in this video, you start trying it out on your next gatherings, social events where you get to meet people. You will see yourself improve over time, basically. Now I have some practical tips I want to share with you guys here. And so there is the first tip. I'm quickly looking at my notes here. The first tip is the grounding. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding. And apparently you want to think of it like that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding. And you like things that you need to do to ground yourself when you find yourself in a social setting. And so this is how it goes. 5 is things you see. So when you walk into a social setting, what are the first 5 things that you notice? You want to intentionally look around and notice those 5 different things. 4 is the feelings, the feeling it gives you. The feeling you start feeling when you notice these 5 things, And then 3 is the things you hear around this place that you enter into, And then 2 is the things that you smell. What smell? Is it the smell of coffee, beer maybe? I don't know. And then 1 is the thing that you are most grateful for when you are in this space. Intentionally have this internal dialogue and identify these things. When you are having this moment with yourself, it's helping you to ground yourself actually. And then practical technique number 2 is actually have a goal where you talk to at least 3 individuals at the gathering. Tell yourself, if I can talk to 3 other people on the social gathering or whatever event this is, I have won. Because remember, you're trying to build your habits, you're trying to build your skill of being a social individual. So it doesn't matter if it's individuals that you know of, that you clearly know that they will be at the event, or complete strangers. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure that you have 3 different conversations, and then you have won basically, and that's good practice for you for the evening or for the day, whatever. And then technique number 3 is basically you reframing rejection. So if it happens that you are at a social gathering and you got rejected, or people didn't want to talk to you, or someone was mean to you, you want to reframe it. Instead of saying that individual didn't like me or she didn't like me, tell yourself that you just didn't vibe. They just didn't get your vibe. It's not lying to yourself per se, because I'm sure in your life there's people that like your attention, like that there's people that appreciate you, that enjoy themselves around you. And so the person who rejected you is not necessarily one of those people. So they just didn't get along with your vibe, basically. That's what you want to tell yourself. And another thing to tell yourself, remind yourself, is that you are not for everyone. Not everybody will like your energy, your mood. And so it's okay. Remember the spotlight effect, where you're at a social gathering and you feel like the spotlight is on you and that everybody is judging you. Imagine yourself dimming that light. Now it's just a warm glow of light. Because it's a social setting, now everybody else has a small glow of light in them. Instead of it being a stage, now it's just a room, which is what it is actually. Now everybody is just a fellow human being, and you're all having normal conversations, you're sharing opinions, telling stories, enjoying each other's company. Basically, no one is judging another person. You need to reframe your mind like that. You need to tell yourself, this thing is not too serious as it seems to be in my head. You need to tell yourself that. Now, confidence is not absence of fear, Confidence is actually showing up despite feeling that fear within you. The more you practice, the more you intentionally allow yourself to be in the social setting, the social spaces, the better you get at being social. The better you train your habits and skills of being a comfortable, confident individual, in the social spaces. Thank you so much for watching the video all the way up to this point in the video. To really show some love and appreciate, just tap on that like button, man, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I love you guys, and I see you in my next video.